And I had to find my my headset. I hit the button and forgot that I had the headset like sitting to the right of me. So my bad, y'all. My bad, y'all. My bad, y'all. Um, episode 108, Sucio Sports, presented by Dubby Energy. What up, House? House in the building. House, you was just live on TikTok, bro. Like, what? I thought you was on TikTok live. Appreciate you tuning in, though. That's love. I had tried to tune in a couple of times earlier when House was on TikTok live. I don't be on TikTok like hardly ever. Like I even be forgetting I have the app. So when somebody send me something and I click on it and I'm like, oh, I still got the app. Like, damn, 7 hours, bruh. Bro, that's a long time. Like that. I was just on a few minutes ago, not long ago, with Two Door Marks. My bad, I forget that quick. I was just on with them. They're doing their Black History Month content creators thing, and so I was on their little thing on their show. It was dope show, dope series. Like proud and blessed to be a part of it. Like it's like, and they putting in some work. I think they end up counting. They're gonna have end up with by the end of the month. I want to say with 15, 16 shows uh this month. So yeah, they seriously putting together some dope shit. Everybody came through. Was on the game. Because that was a fucking marathon. 7 hours. 7 hours. That was a lot. Well, Sloan Terry. Hey, put in reverse, Terry. Sloan gonna be our new Terry. Oh, yo, you gotta be kidding me, bro. You gotta be kidding me. Hey, so like this is crazy because we was literally just on Gresh Unleashed last night talking about Private Party coming out potentially as the mystery tag team with the Rascals and the Young Bucks. Like we was just talking about that last night. Me, Highlight, and Mika. I want to say it was Highlight that brought it. Yeah, Highlight was the one who brought it up. Man, come on, man. That's wild, bro. That's wild. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, House. I don't know if because supposedly their deal was coming up, I think, or like they were exploring other options or something like that. So either they re-signed or their deal got extended because they both. I think I know Mark Quinn had got injured a couple of times, and I think Zay even got injured himself. So they may have had an injury time added. Who knows? But it's dope to see them dudes in this match. And you can definitely see where they worked on their bodies. Like for sure, Mark Quinn. Like Mark Quinn swole now. Like that's crazy. But yeah, this is a good look for AEW for sure. What up, Dre? Yeah, but it was dope. It was cool doing two dope marks earlier. Their Black History Month, Black content creators deal like that. That was pretty cool. Um, got a chance to chop it up with Brandon and D. Um, like really good dudes. They do quality content and stuff. So I was really happy to come on the show and chop it up and talk with them about all that kind of thing. But nah, man, like so this being our first show after the Super Bowl, like the game wasn't that good. It really wasn't. I mean, it started off kind of good, and because the Seahawks couldn't score a touchdown, and it always looked like the Patriots were just one drop away late in the first half, and then really in the second half. To be honest with you, it was a tale of two different games, and it ended up the way it ended up, and it didn't look good. And you get Super Bowls like that. It wasn't the like 42-10 or 56-7 or it wasn't one of those kind of scores or nothing crazy like that. Um, but it was enough of an ass whipping to be like, oh wow, like damn. And I always tell people be careful what you ask for, be careful what you wish for, be careful because like a lot of people think that Will Campbell is a bust or something like that. And it was like, nah, the dude was injured apparently going into the game. And then the Seahawks also said they found some tells and weak spots or whatever in New England's pass protection. Um, I know that Campbell's like short arms and stuff like that like came up as a topic of discussion, and I know I've even brought it up as well. But like looking back at it, knowing that he had apparently a knee injury, and then you look back at like how he would set up and certain things like that, like you could tell something wasn't right. Bottom line, something wasn't right. And the thing is Drake May have been sacked 5 times each of their previous 3 games in the playoffs. So I'm just saying, like there was when I looked at the game and I said I got Seattle. The main reason why I picked Seattle it was because I thought that they would win that key demographic, that key matchup of Seattle's pass rush versus New England blocking, their offensive line, their pass blocking. And so that's why I was like, hey, listen, this is uh this is what I see, and this is how I feel like it's gonna go. And it ended up going exactly like that. And I'm not really surprised that it ended up being it ended up a 2-score game or more. Um, because once I saw it going, I was like, yeah, they just don't have an answer for it. And with Seattle, especially getting their run game going, the way their defense was playing, it was just like boom. It was hey, we got a co-host. Hold on, you muted.
All right, there we go. Only for a moment, not for long.
No, I was just talking about like how once the game got going and I saw like how Seattle's defense was handling
Oh, Super Bowl. Okay.
yeah, how Seattle's defense was handling New England's pass blocking and the way they was attacking them.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't just about attacking Will Campbell or his injury.
Hey,
It
they
was
were fucking
like
Will Campbell up.
it was the way that they were sending rushers at them, and they were getting pressure up the middle and on both ends. Like because you knew if we got pressure on Will Campbell's side, you knew you could get pressure from everywhere else. You know what I'm saying?
He say cut Campbell? God damn.
Bro, I,
Shit.
I I ignore emotional comments like that because people don't be knowing
Man.
what they talking about. But like,
Wow, Marty.
um, it's like they was getting pressure from everywhere pretty much. It
Oh
didn't
no,
no
they
matter where they called it up from, they was getting it.
but they knew what to do. I mean, that's why you had those 2 weeks between conference championship to Super Bowl to strategize to scheme. They saw the way that they had been playing all playoffs, and they did the one thing that nobody else did: thin pressure.
No, but they
Find
they the thing is
find the
everybody else was
weakness.
getting pressure though because they had 5 sacks a game
Oh
in
well,
the
yeah, you're
playoffs.
right.
That's what I'm saying. So everybody was getting pressure. It was just that the way they were
Plus, if
dialing it
you're
up.
and not just that, but if I send pressure with my line and maybe one linebacker, right? I'm rushing 5, or I'm sending my 4+1. If I know my corners are gonna lock down, and my extra linebacker is gonna lock down the tight end, and the wide receivers are gonna be jammed up. When I rush, now he has
Mhm.
nowhere to go because they were shutting the run game down. Ramondre couldn't get off. Travion couldn't get off at all when he got in. He started cooking in what was that, the fourth quarter?
Yeah, it was
When he
towards the end
finally
of the
started,
game.
yeah,
Yeah.
when he finally started getting like loose because by that point they kind of took the pressure off of him and was, in a sense they knew they had the game, so they didn't
Yeah.
go, defensively they didn't go as hard, so it lightened up for them. But I mean, it was a good for me. Like we were talking about in our chats, it was a great defensive game because they really was holding them to
Mhm.
3 the entire first half. Which,
Yeah.
in my opinion, it was great because it was still what 12-0 going into the half. That's
Mhm.
close. That's not a blowout. That's 2 touchdowns,
Yeah.
literally 2 touchdowns, and we back in it. So that's not a
Right.
bad thing. They didn't score an
Right.
actual touchdown until the third quarter, like late in the third, when they finally had scored their first touchdown.
No, it was the
Um,
fourth quarter before anybody scored
I
a
thought I
touchdown.
thought Seattle got one in the fourth. I mean in the third. It was like late in
Nah,
the
it was
third.
another field goal.
That was early. I know when the third started, they held them to another field goal because it was 15. You might be
Yeah,
right. I
it
can't
it
remember
was
the
a field. I'm
exact, but
looking at it right here because it was 3 in the first, 6 in the second, 3 in the third, then 17 and fucking 13 in the fourth quarter. The fourth quarter is where all the fireworks started.
yeah, and by that point the game was already on field. I mean, going up 12-0 hurt them, and then going up, I'm not hurt them. It hurt New England, I'm sorry. And then going up 15-0. And even at that point, 15-0, you're still not out of it. To be honest, 15-0, again, 3 touchdowns. So, but it was just I don't know. I would honestly say I feel like New England got lucky all playoffs because there was a couple games they should not. I'm not gonna say they shouldn't have been there because who should
Mhm.
have been there was there, right? Like we said about the NBA finals like last year. Some people don't feel like, Indy should have been there. Some people don't feel like OKC should have been there, but who was there was there. And the game still got to get played no matter what. Um, do I think it would have been a better game had certain teams won? Maybe. I think the Bills is probably the only team I feel like it would have been a different game. I don't even think Denver could have. I don't think Denver would have put up a better game against what Seattle had. I think quarterback play had a lot to do with it. Adjustments, not just from coaching, um, but even on field from the quarterback. I think
Mhm.
that's why I feel like the Bills, because of a more veteran like Josh Allen, would have made the correct adjustments in game, regardless of what coaching is calling. I think McDermott in that moment probably would have made the correct adjustments. Joe Brady would have also. So Coaching came down to a lot of, even though they were pretty much two, rookie coach versus this is his second time as a head coach, so he's still relatively, new head coach. But shout out to Seattle, man. They got them another one. Mike McDonald got his first one, first time head coach.
Mm-hmm.
The Raven fans that I know were sick because their head coach. That's how they call it. McDonald was their head coach. Their head coach went and got one, so they feel like they got to win off that.
I don't understand.
Hey, nah, bro, I ain't gonna lie. When Andy got the first one with the Chiefs, I felt that way too. I felt like we got one off that. Like we got him right for him to go over there and do that. So I understand it. When you have a coach for so long with you, and then he can't get it done with your team, and then he leave, and within like the first year or two with the other team, especially, I ain't gonna lie, bro. You got a coordinator in house, and then he go get a head coaching job, and then this is what his second in his second year with them, go get one. Crazy. It makes you look at your ownership like, y'all stupid, because then you got rid of Harbaugh, and it's like, if y'all were gonna get rid of Harbaugh, y'all could have did that before. But we could have had McDonald in house.
I'm gonna put it to you like this, like, shout out to your ownership because they at least
I love that comment.
They at least hired a good enough coach to where somebody else wanted to give him the keys to their kingdom.
Oh yeah, I ain't never been mad about a coordinator leaving us. Like Shane Steichen, like, none of them. Like
if they whatever they go on to is what they go on to. Like that is no longer my quote unquote coach. Like
nah, I hate the Chiefs. Right, I have to. No, not have to, but I do. But I'm always gonna have love for Andy. I can never hate Andy. I may not like the franchise that he went to. I may not like him winning with that franchise. But the respect I got for Andy and what he did for Philly, the years he was there, and what he built up there, and even if like thinking about like him being the only coach that gave Mike Vick a chance. You know what I mean? After everything, like for that, I always felt like, Andy gets the utmost respect through everything. So. Like, but it was a great Super Bowl, great halftime show.
It really was. Like I love the my only complaint with Bad Bunny. My only complaint
Benito
was that I wanted to hear more songs that I would recognize.
I only recognize one, and I think it was, I can't remember the name of it, but it was like the last one he did.
Yeah,
was the only one that I recognized. I think but that's because I know more of his older music than the newer, because I didn't realize the song that he came out to at Backlash is an older song. That's not a newer. So for us,
been out like 2011, 13, 14, something like that. It's been out.
For us, hold on, Sloan. All right, so you want to be here. Let's have this conversation. That's not our fault. Just because that's not.
It is.
It is, but it isn't. I mean, it is, but it isn't, right? Because some people just ain't fans of that. You know what I mean? Like, not everybody is supposed to love something just because you do, or because that's who's performing. And I also think, when I looked at a lot of the online backlash from both sides, a lot of it was the same on both sides. It was the people who were confused on why he was performing, especially where it was all Spanish. And it was those people that were like, I mean, we could have did something different. And then the people coming back at them like, well, y'all should do that. Y'all got Apple Music. Like, but that don't mean everybody's gonna like that. You know what I mean? Like, there's people who do. There's people who don't. I'm a Bad Bunny fan. So for me, it wasn't bad, but I can understand the side of people that were more, and I don't want to call it ignorance or it's no type of racism or anything like that, because it was musical. I even seen the backlash from what Chris Brown had posted where he was saying like, y'all need me. I don't even think he was talking about it from like a bad standpoint. It was literally from like a performative standpoint. No. Trust me. The Super Bowl does. He should have been done one, and we all know as long as Jay-Z is in charge. Shakira also was in English. Let's not do that. So that's the other
Yeah,
part of it. She
yeah.
did some in Spanish, but a lot of
A
her
lot of it
music
was
was
in English.
also was in English.
And
Only thing we got,
she already has music that's in English. Like a lot of her
yeah, like he
already
does
French.
not.
She does music in English. Like
99% of his music, or 90, I say a good 98 is outside of the songs he has with a couple American artists where they're in America, like doing their parts in English. Other than that, it's predominantly Spanish, which is fine. Again, I love the perform. I just think the performative side of it could have been a smidge better. And that's what I took from Chris's comments was because we all know Chris puts on a fucking show. Like that's what he does. And you give a Chris Brown, we see what he does on tour. You give him the Super Bowl with a set and it's gonna be amazing. I think it would be amazing. But again, as long as Jay-Z's in charge, that ain't gonna happen because he's still Rihanna's number one fan. He ain't unless she come to him and be like, "Hey, it's okay. Let Chris do it. Chris is
yeah,
gonna be amazing."
but another thing too is like there's also always going to be like a little bit of politics behind it too because it's like
Oh, and just like last year and this year, it was pure. The performances were pure in the music and the message. All of it was pure political. Like we got dope stuff from Kendrick. We know Kendrick's music. But it's that in between where it was fully political. Same thing with Bad Bunny. He used the platform to be political, and I love that.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like all of it, because it's a fu to the government, fu to the orange man, and that was what I got from the majority of it.
Yeah.
But it's Bad Bunny. If you've been to a concert, if you haven't, if you've seen him perform, whether you've seen it on YouTube or not,
Yeah,
that's what you got
yeah.
from Benito. Like
And
he's
I
still gonna
think
put on a show.
I think Peter Rosenberg had one of the funniest comments. I think it was him. It may have been him. It could have been somebody else, but I think it was him that said, "If you don't know enough Bad Bunny music, you have not been around that many baddies in your life.
I'll say that too.
If you are
Depending
not
on
familiar with Bad Bunny's music, you have
depends on
not been
the
around enough baddies."
depends on the baddie, but yeah,
Like we can
I ain't even
all
gonna act
make
like I always
assumptions
been a
or
fan.
whatever.
I ain't gonna act like I always been a fan because I'm still a new fan myself. I'm probably a 3-year fan, so I'm still very new to him. I was more of a Manuel AA and there's a couple other dudes who were out at the same time as him. I just wasn't hip to him and his music at that point.
Yeah.
And Sloan and Suavemente come on, I lose my mind. I ain't gonna act like I don't. Shy will tell y'all. Suave, she gets annoyed. Suavemente come on,
Hey, bruh. Like, listen,
hands get to swinging with the hips,
bruh.
boy.
Listen.
I'm fluent. Don't get me
The
wrong.
music will take over. Like,
I'm super fluent.
there's certain songs. It don't matter where you at, the culture,
Yeah.
whatever.
And that's on every side because there's
Certain
black
songs
songs
just
that come on.
cause right.
We've
Certain
all been
songs
in
come
like the
on
mixed clubs and the mixed places where there's been black songs that come on and you see white people go crazy. Same
lose
thing as
they mind.
there's white songs that come on. Let me tell you something, bro. Tennessee whiskey come on, I go crazy.
Bruh. What?
That's my first song at karaoke. You know what I mean? Same thing as black people hear anything by not Pitbull, what's the other Flow Rider. They hear any Flow Rider, they go crazy. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's Spanish people hear black songs and they go crazy. We hear Spanish like
Bruh.
it goes around all the way.
Perfect.
Hey,
Let the
that's a
dogs out.
perfect example. Dre do
Bruh.
that at karaoke all the time.
Listen, you do who let the dogs out,
I'm
and
walking out.
listen, people gonna lose their mind.
Not me. So nah, it was a great performance, man. It was a great it was a I gonna say great Super Bowl. It was great on one side. But it was dope. It was still like I told you last week. I wasn't excited, and then the closer we got to Sunday, and then we got to Sunday, I was, and yeah, everything about it was dope. Good game, you know. learning lesson for both sides. I will say, I think personally, this was the Patriots' chance to win it. I think Seattle has a better chance of getting back only because I know the Patriots have a lot of cap space. They're one of the teams with the highest cap space going into next season. Free agents, they have a lot of players under rookie deals, under first year and early second year deals. Um, so that's a great thing, but that AFC is not easy. You got a Chargers team that's going to come back healthy next year. Because I thought the Chargers were one of the best teams all season until they started, breaking down with injuries. You got a Ravens team that's about to retool and come back strong with their new staff, hopefully. We don't know really about the Chiefs because we don't know how long Patrick Mahomes is going to be down. So they have a quarterback uh, decision that they have to make as far as who's going to hold the helms until he comes back. Buffalo's always there. And now they didn't change too much. They need to add, but you take the offensive coordinator who's been there for years. Now you make him the head coach, and you're bringing in a new OC, which is fine. But that team, for the most part, is still going to be the same. They do got some key free agents they need to bring back in, but they also need to explore free agency. They also need to look through the draft as far as targets. They need to get Keon Coleman some therapy. I don't know mentally what's going on with the young bull. I like him. I love him. I think he's talent.
Mm-hmm.
Something this season was in his head that just messed him up. And it could be maturity. We don't know. Could be anything. But I want to see the young man win. Uh, who else in the
You know
AFC is
what's really
strong that I'm
crazy is
forgetting?
that Seattle does have,
Broncos going to be right back.
but Seattle also has about 72 million projected in cap space for next year.
And their free agents it's a couple key from what I remember on the list. It was a couple key people, but I'm sure it's nothing to get them back in the building. So they're gonna be a team that's right back. And I ain't even touched on the NFC. I still think Seattle has a great chance to get back. NFC side, you got a Philly team who hopefully gets it together this offseason with the new OC. And we the one thing I realized about Philly the last few years, I see your face because I was about to say we. The one thing I realized about Philly the last few years is they go on and off. So you have that one, you'll have the year where we're off, and then that next, I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry, they
They
have
got
that one year.
Yeah, they
That
got 20 million in cap space next year. What I'm looking
Philly,
at. Yeah, it's the one that now the one that'll surprise everybody, and this surprised me looking at this list. The Commanders are the top NFC team with 76 million going into next year, followed by
yep.
Seattle with 72.
And
And then
then
the Rams have 48.
Rams have a lot. On the AFC side, if I remember, it was the Raiders, it
Titans,
was Titans,
Raiders, Chargers,
and
Jets.
Patriots. Yeah, the Jets had a lot too. Patriots, I believe, have the most, if
No,
I'm not
Patriots
wrong.
only have 42. The
I thought
Titans
Patriots
have
had more than that.
not going into the next season.
Hmm.
Extensions and stuff kick in. Titans
Patriots
have
need wide receiver help.
104.
Patriots need wide receiver help in D line. I think I like the D line. I don't think the D line was that bad because they were
Well,
causing havoc.
yeah,
Again,
I have
they
to look
held
at
them to 3 points.
I'll have to look at their pass rushers and their D linemen and stuff to see who's free
Yeah,
agents and whatnot. I
but for
haven't
the
even
most
like
part,
looked that far into it yet, but it's
if none of them are leaving, I like the D line. I don't think the D line was the problem because
yeah
again, they were causing havoc also. And like I said, for the most part, it was field goals up until the fourth quarter. So they definitely do need wide receiver help because I think I like Butte and I like Stephon, of course. But outside of them two, Hunter Henry was getting shut down. I love Hunter Henry, but they still need one or two. They need at least two more good wide receivers that's going to take the pressure off of them when they're
mhm.
getting like double teamed or they're getting locked down.
Yeah. There's
That
definitely money
that
that they
third
can
and
spend.
fourth receiver.
There's money that
Yeah.
they definitely need to spend, and the price for receivers keeps going up. But as we all know,
Pay that young man
you
Gonzalez. That young man earned his check on Sunday.
if
I'll
you
tell you that.
wanna if you wanna put your money out there, go ahead and put your money out there. But I think that it's gonna be tough on teams like the Chiefs, the Vikings, the Cowboys, because they're over the cap already. So they got to do some maneuvering to get under the cap.
Yeah, that Cowboy one is interesting because everybody wants to see what they're going to do about NFL YoungBoy and if he's going to be back next year or because he's a interesting free agent. I will say that with the season he just had, he showed everybody why the Steelers look stupid, let him go,
Who are you
and then
talking
the
about?
Steelers, Pickens,
Oh yeah, okay.
um, yeah, he made it. He showed that the Steelers were stupid to trade him, especially with the season they had, not having receivers, DK getting doubled. I didn't understand that because if you all you have is DK, you don't replace him with anybody. You're literally running one wide receiver, three tight end sets all
Hmm.
season. So, and he's even open to coming back to the Steelers from the interview I saw the other day. He said a return to them if he's not going to return to Dallas isn't off the table. He said Philly was another team he had mentioned that he loved and was interested in, and it was somebody else in the AFC that he said he really liked, but he said he wants to see what Dallas is talking because that's where he's made home and he definitely love to come back. Um,
Yeah,
so
I mean, I wouldn't
I
mind
think
coming back either, especially if I was targeted and had that many damn catches and yards and stuff.
let me tell you
I'm also,
something, like
also
because
I want to come back too.
he's easily taking the pressure off 88, and I mean 88 was still getting his numbers too. I hate to give that, I hate to give Dallas props, but that offense is crazy. I knew Williams going there. I remember we talked about it in the offseason, and I said Williams going there gives them that run game. A lot of people aren't familiar with Javante, but I knew him going there was going to help that run game
Yep,
because of
and
what I saw
that's
him do with
exactly what
Denver.
they needed. That's exactly
Yeah,
what they
and
needed.
the
It helped
problem
more
isn't
than
even
enough.
their offense. Yeah, their issue isn't even their offense. It's the defense.
I mean,
They
to
def-
me, the problem with their offense is consistency.
well, yeah,
That
that
comes
too.
with
That for
chemistry,
sure.
play calling, and like being healthy and stuff like that. But like that defense looked improved over the course of the year, especially after they started retooling with the trades and whatnot.
Hmm.
Like it looked a
But
lot different.
that Micah trade, and I think I forgot who pod they was talking about it, but what they said, it to me, I had to sit back and think. And in the moment when the Micah trade happened, we all looked at Jerry like, all right, something wrong with him. He old, he see now, he's crazy. But I look at it now and I see what he turned the Micah trade into. He got the D tackle from Clark out of the
Mhm.
trade, first
Kenny
off.
Clark.
Then he gets the draft picks. But then he uses the draft picks to go get Quentin Williams. So now you turn a 2-for-1. And you don't look as crazy as you did in the beginning when you let Micah go because of what you got back, in a sense. You got Clark, which fogs up the middle, and then you go and get Williams that replaces him on Quentin Williams, which replaces him on the outside. Micah. So now you don't look as crazy. Plus, you still got draft picks from that too. And it's like, damn, the old man might not be as crazy as you think he is. Like that was a very, very smart move to retool the defensive line when everybody was going to look at him like he was crazy. And he didn't know he was going to get Quentin. I will say that. But it still worked out that the Jets were just going through a haul and just was like, hey, we need to get off this money. We got a couple pieces that we need to move. They moved Sauce, they moved him, they got off those contracts, which freed up more money, and it helped out the Colts in Dallas.
I
So
mean, Dallas ended up with the 20th pick in the draft as an extra. Like they have their own pick at 12, but that first round pick they got from Green Bay this year ended up being the 20th pick in the draft.
and with this year's draft, these first 3 rounds is heavy. I've looked these first 3 rounds. I looked at the mock. I was looking at the mock drafts, and I saw how they had everybody taking who in the first round. But then you go look at the names that are falling to second and third because I mean, not everybody can be a first round pick. But you see, after who mock wise gets picked in that first, And then you look at all these names that's in the second and third, and it's like it's a heavy draft this year. So
Hmm. The only thing is I like I always advise, don't fall in love with the name because the name don't translate to production on the next level either. Like,
yeah, a lot of the Miami players are panning out because we see Arroyo with Seattle. And he was a player that slipped real far, but he was a top name when the season ended last year. But then going into the draft, not as sexy as he was in college football. Same thing with Martinez from Miami, top running back, and I don't even think he made a roster. I can't remember, but I don't even think Damian Martinez ended up on a roster, and he was one of the top backs in college football last year. So, like you said, sometimes there's things that the scouts get paid to see that we sometimes as podcasters or just fans don't see. We're just like, yo, he fired. He need to be on somebody's team. I take him on my team, but then he don't make a team. So
that's why I keep telling people don't fall in love with the name because
shit. Proctor done went from like a top 5 pick to like middle of the second round now, from what I'm
man,
seeing,
but
which is
he wasn't.
crazy.
It depends on who you looked at that valued him as a top five pick though, because like there were some people that never really had him that high.
I think most of the draft, like the ESPN one in the early season, I remember it was early season, of course, had him top 5. But then again, as the season went on, that started to slide. And I think now I seen him somewhere in the second. Even Bain, even though Bain had a great season, Bain had a great
Hmm.
playoff and championship game play. Even that, Bain has slipped a lot too. So it also just depends because now that the season's over, teams we know where everybody's picking now. And the need may not be for you at that point. Yeah, you might be a top 5, top 10 pick, but those people that's picking in the 5, 10 don't need you. So that slides you and it slides somebody else in. It's a lot of times it's need over want.
Yeah, and the thing is, the the first 18 picks were already set because those teams didn't make the playoffs. It's
Mm-hmm.
picks 19 through 32 that had to get decided because of the playoffs and whatnot. So it's
Yep.
like a lot of the times teams at the top, their needs may change.
Yeah.
Not necessarily their draft order, but they may look at things differently or
Because your
certain
need don't change.
yeah.
But
You may like people may think that a player like a Ruben Bain, like you brought up for example, is gonna go like 1, 2, 3 going into this season, right? Because they just look at the overall prospects and you look at okay, who's typically a top pick, who would be valued at the top of this draft.
but then
These
as them
players.
as them
As
teams start forming out,
right. As you start to see the season progress and you see who's going to be picking near the top of that draft, it may flip and change because those needs may change as well. That's why a
yeah,
lot of the
because
time, looking at what was projected at the beginning of the season may change to the end of the season depending on not only the players and how they perform themselves, but also the
the
team.
team and who's picking. Because now you got a Raiders
Right.
picking number 1, where they need a quarterback. But
Hmm.
let's say Ruben Bain is the perennial number 1. It don't make sense for them to go do that if your need is quarterback and Mendoza is right there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Um,
There's been times where
hello.
it's like defensive ends, left tackles, and all kind of stuff like that. That's been like the number one overall prospect, but you'll get a quarterback who's like the fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth best prospect that goes number one overall simply
Because
because
that's the
the,
need.
the team need right.
Hmm.
So it's and we all know quarterback is at that premium position where like you need that
And
franchise
this
guy.
year, we seen a lot of the quarterbacks that we thought were coming out decided to stay. So now there's not as many top pick quarterbacks. Um, there's quarterbacks, don't get me wrong, but those guys that were supposed to go in the top 5, top 10, now they're like, nah, I'm gonna stay in school another year. So
Hmm.
now, like, we're probably gonna get Mendoza in the first. I mean, the first pick 9 times out of 10. Ty Simpson decided to stay, right?
Uh,
I
I'm
can't
not sure.
remember.
I think
I
he's
think
still there. I think he's still in the draft.
okay. Well, if
I'm
Ty
not gonna
come
look it
in,
up
then
right now.
Ty's probably gonna go, depending on how the Jets want to move. That might be their pick. Um, yeah, if is coming out, that may be the pick for the Jets. Let me look
Yeah,
on
he's
my
still in
graph
the
real
draft.
quick.
Yeah, he's still in
Okay.
the draft. So, but the thing is though, like my biggest takeaway from all of this though, like looking at the draft and looking at the off season for the NFL, is that there's there's gonna be a lot of movement and whatnot, and really we just have to like be careful with, like I always tell, watch where you see certain information and stuff from and how it's worded and phrased and different stuff like that. Because like somebody got fooled the other day with something, and I looked it up real quick, and I was like, oh no, that's not true at all. And it's like it's crazy because like people get got so easily, and I'm like, bro, like it's as easy as a Google search sometimes. Like it's just
Oh,
that
that's
simple.
that's crazy. They actually have. So I'm on CBS Sports. Their mock draft actually has Arvell Reese going second to the Jets as of right now, mock wise.
Mhm. I've
And there's
seen
not another.
that.
So after
I've seen
Mendoza,
that a
it's not
couple of
another.
times.
I mean, that's from what I'm looking at, that's about right. Because like I said, after Mendoza, quarterback wise, not in the first. Next quarterback look like is not coming until like the second or later.
Yeah, the
Um,
only thing that I saw a handful early mock drafts from different NFL people that had Simpson going like later on in the draft to a team like the Rams
which isn't bad for them
in the
because you
first
got to
round.
start preparing
Like,
for
yeah,
life after.
I saw that. I know I saw something with him going to the Rams, and I think somebody else maybe in a similar situation. I want to say, but I know for a fact I saw him going like to the Rams
I'll
later on
say
in the season.
if this goes the way I'm looking, this is crazy because a Carnell Tate going to the Giants at 5 is for that offense and what they need to add another weapon on offense like that would be nasty for them, especially going into a new season with a new veteran head Hall of Fame head coach or potential. Um,
Hey, I wouldn't be surprised if
they got
Jeremiah.
Ruben Bain. They got Ruben Bain coming to y'all to the Saints at 8.
I wouldn't be
So actually,
surprised if Jeremiah Love went 5 to the Giants.
I could. You think so with the run? But they got with that running back room already.
Harbaugh would love to add that to that, but that
But you got
Cardinal Tate pick,
yeah
Cardinal,
that
I've
they got Jeremiah Love going to the Chiefs as of right now at 9.
I've
Now
seen
that,
a few different things going to the Giants. Like the Chiefs,
but see,
that's
that's what
another
I
team
was
that's
talking
fine
about.
too. The Chiefs is
I was
another
about
team
to say
fine too.
that's what I was talking about the Chiefs, where it's like they have a top 10 pick again for like what the third year in a row or second. They got a top pick where they're about to get. They're gonna retool with a younger piece that can come in day one and go crazy for them. And it's like they get a Jeremiah Love, and they just if they keep Pacheco or Kareem, I think one of the Kareem or Pacheco is probably gone. But even with that, let's say you keep all three, and you can interchange them in and out like that. And with that offense already crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
The thing is though, like just like to wrap
Jordan
this all up
Tyson to the
with the
Rams,
NFL,
nasty.
like it's
Hmm.
gonna be a lot that we're gonna have to look forward to for this off season. But um I think the biggest thing is just seeing who can find their what teams are gonna do outside of, you know, because there's still gonna be teams that's gonna need quarterbacks that's not gonna draft their future quarterbacks. So what are
Yep.
those teams gonna do? And then what are these teams gonna do that have these quarterbacks that want to get rid of these quarterbacks? Like Arizona, like Miami. You know, what are they gonna do with those type of like who decides
Yeah.
to make what decisions and things like that? Is Aaron Rodgers gonna come back to Pittsburgh? And, you know, what do the Jets end up doing? And like, you know, there's a lot of
That
different
Pittsburgh
things
one
that need to be
is
answered.
key.
Yeah, there's a lot of different answers that need to be answered at the quarterback position, and there's not enough for them of them at the
Not
top
this season.
all around.
This is one
So
of those. I think this one of those drafts because it's not so quarterback heavy, and there are so many teams right now that don't have fully have an answer. Like the Raiders are looking up and they're potentially finding their answer at quarterback. But a team like the Jets, who are kind of in limbo with Fields, like you said, Pittsburgh, who Rodgers, but then we still got to start looking at life after Rodgers. If Rodgers comes back for another year, that kind of helps them out until next season, where we're saying way the quarterback draft for next year is very, very heavy and very talented. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be a beautiful off season, and we'll be here to give you all the news. What the hell?
bruh, uh AEW, they just put the title on Tekla.
The women's title?
Yeah, she just beat Stat.
I'm not. I'm upstairs in the room, and Shawat
Nigga,
got the
this
minion.
is crazy, bro. They
The
had a
minion.
crazy.
She got
They
the
had
minions
a
on for the kids. I gotta look at that.
they had
I'm
a
about to catch.
strap match, and I mean they both
They put
got
the belt on Tekla.
they put the belt on Tekla in a fucking
That's
strap match.
different. That's. I'm not shocked. Actually, I am shocked. Tekla? And I'm not saying it like that, like she's not a dope
And
ass
she
talent.
beat
But
the
I'm thinking of.
no.
But
This is the
then I'm
thing.
looking at the year that she's had. It
She
makes
beat the
sense.
shit out of Stat though. Stat is fucked up. Tekla
Like
got busted open.
it won a close match at all.
No, it was a good back and forth, but Stat is laying there bloodied up in the ring
But
right now.
just for a moment,
Yeah, that's
though,
crazy.
do you know the one thing I do like about them? They'll do something like this and make a move like that will leave everybody looking like Tekla. But for people who've been watching, like I just said, she's actually had a really great year. Like if you've really been paying attention, there's been a bit of a buildup.
It,
So
the
it does
way the way they've
it
been
makes a
presenting her,
lot of sense. Yeah.
the way they've been presenting her as a big deal, and
And
I
I love
love
the
that.
fact that they do not mind changing titles on a Wednesday show where everybody be like, I love the WWE getting back to that
Yeah.
because they've been doing a lot of title defenses on Raws and SmackDowns.
Hmm.
Those of us who grew up during the Attitude Era remember you would get a title match on a random Monday or a random
The
Friday.
title would switch from
It would switch hands on a Monday.
yeah, like
Right after, I'm talking about right after a pay-per-view. Nigga could retain his belt on Saturday or Sunday or on
no,
Sunday and lose it on Monday on a Monday
no,
night.
that
So I love that wrestling is getting back to that. It ain't gotta be just a I think so many of this younger generation, etc., isn't used to that like we are. We're used to, like I said,
right,
a Monday or Friday seeing a title change. And it won't,
right.
it's not on a pay-per-view or something where people
Perfect.
like, why are you wasting this match on a
Yeah,
Monday?
yeah, yeah.
Because y'all don't know.
Y'all don't
Y'all
get
won't
it.
y'all won't
Nope.
outside back then.
Yeah, they don't
Y'all
get
won't
it, man.
outside.
Like perfect example, I'll never forget. Uh, that King of the Ring that everybody talk about, and everybody talk about it because of the Mankind Undertaker match. Because Mankind got through off the cell and then went through the cell, right? They forget the main event was a title match between Stone Cold and Kane. Stone Cold got busted open. It was the first blood match. Kane wins the title. The very next night on Raw, Stone Cold beat Kane to win the title back. Like, and we talking. This is June of '98. Like, it used to the title used to hot potato sometimes in the Attitude Era, and like you would get those wild swings and changes of title reigns and stuff like that, and they don't have that now. And it's like there's just certain stuff about like the way sports used to be and certain way things used to be that I feel bad because people didn't really get to see it in its true form, and so they'll never grow to appreciate it. They only see
Yeah.
highlights and stuff like that, and so it's like they get a certain perspective of it, but you don't get the full viewing pleasure of being in that environment. while it's taking place. So they'll never really, truly get it. It's just like for example, watching basketball now, it's still fun to watch. And like I still love like watching teams like Golden State or the Pistons or, different teams that move the ball around or whatever. But like I saw a clip earlier about Shaq, how Shaq went off on David Robinson and Hakeem Olajuwon in an All-Star game, two separate All-Star games because they was talking shit. And it's like I miss that era of like a bunch of dominant big men.
Oh yeah, but the game, but now a lot of the big men, like because of like just bodies have changed and like
Hmm.
the way the game is being played. It
Yeah.
it didn't start with AD, but around that AD time. Well, no, I ain't gonna say that because we act like Jermaine O'Neal want like a big man that could run the floor. Um, but it's more common now because we got Embiid, we got Jokic, and they can run the floor also. But they're big dudes, and now you have more 6'10", 6'11" centers rather the 7 foot ones. But even the 7 foot ones, look at Bo. Me and Quan talk about this all the time. Anybody who's watched basketball, and I really want to look into it more to speak on it to figure out why he hasn't made a roster or why he's not on teams. But Bo, if you watch him play, and it could just be practice, it could be, whatever behind the scenes that we don't get to see. But when I watch him play, like even from high school, I watched him at Oregon. The boy is like mean. Like I'm talking about handles, the shot, getting to the cup. He's exactly what a lot of people want from they stretch big. And I'm like, why is he not on the team? Like,
The thing is like you see flashes of that, and like you mentioned it in high school and in college, but you didn't mention anything about his performance in the NBA. And it's because you only see like bits and pieces of flashes of it because
but
once you get up to that 1% of the 1%, you can't get by on God given ability and athleticism in anything anymore.
okay. So let me ask you a question because we were talking about this also, and I don't know if you saw it in the rundown when we were talking about it. I think it was last night. We were talking about Bronny, and that confuses me, right? I understand certain aspects of it where it's rotation, pure rotation, right? But I watched Brody go crazy in G League, right? And level of competition is different, of course, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I watched him go crazy, dropping 40, 50 triple doubles, double doubles in the G League, right? Boy. And then I he's not getting the clock, of course, because he's not close or in the rotation like that. I mean, he dropped 12 last night. He looked great. I like the block on Oleanik. Came back down with the 3. Like, but it makes me wonder, like, okay, cool. If Bronny's doing this in the G League, if you gave him more time, is he doing the same thing up? Like, if you give him, instead of him getting, what is he getting now? Maybe 10 minutes a game, if that. I think he got a little more clock last night than he normally does. But if you give him a 15 minutes a game, 20 minutes a game, is he doing this? Is he making the same production? And I wonder, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like same boy. I feel like with like a bowl, it's the same thing though. Like if you give him the opportunity and you give him more of a chance, is that production going to be there? So I don't know. Sometimes it just depends on situation and team that you go to. Sometimes some teams are just filling roster spots, and you end up 11th, 12th on the team. Sometime in that 13, 14, where you just there for bodies just in case.
Yeah,
And
the
then
thing is,
sometimes
though, it's
it's
like
tough.
it's tough because when you get to that level of competition, it's no longer that you can just out jump, outrun, out hustle somebody or whatever because you have the best of the best at every position up and down the roster. And so it's a lot harder for you to reach that full potential because if you see it on this level, then you want to see it translate on to the next level. But that next level is such a jump for you, you can't just expect to see the same kind of production.
Yeah,
And it's just tough because you really gotta work on stuff. And it's like maybe if given the chance in the right situation, these guys can succeed. But my thing is if they never succeed, then it's like, was it you never found the right situation or were you just never good enough? Because to me, if you were good enough, you'd eventually find the right situation somewhere. Somebody would be willing to take a chance on you.
he had good games. I will say Bobo had good games in Phoenix. Um, and again, for whatever reason, he didn't stick and stay. I forgot who else he was signed. Indiana was in. I just think he just didn't fit in with what they were doing in Indy when he was there. But and it could be the
Mhm.
same with Phoenix. So, but
A
while we're
lot
on
of
the
the
NBA
times
and
too
speaking,
with some of these
oh,
younger guys, it's like awareness and stuff, like not knowing where to be and when to be there on
yeah,
offense and defense.
hmm,
And a lot of the times you can have all the talent and the ability in the world, but if you don't know where to be and when to be there, then that gets you into a lot of hot water, a lot of dog houses in any league. Don't matter if it's basketball, football, baseball, whatever it is. And that a lot of the times is what I see with some of these younger players is just not knowing the game enough, either not being able to get it or not trying hard enough to get it, or whatever the disconnect is. But it's
yeah,
like not knowing the game intimately enough to know, like, because there's some players, and that's why a lot of the times I think the less athletic players and the players who aren't as good at some of these higher levels make the best coaches because they
yeah,
have to study the game harder and know the game more intimately than some of these guys who are more athletically or God given, like body type, physically gifted. And when you get somebody who has to dedicate that much more time to knowing the game and studying the game, naturally they're going to come out a lot smarter.
hmm,
So this is why I say a lot of the time you get some people who are just, physically gifted with certain talents and abilities that they don't have to, work as hard on the back end of things.
mm-mm. And then you
Because
get those,
don't
like you
put in that
said,
work,
some
they
guys,
show it.
yeah, and then you get those guys that but I mean that's why you got overseas now. You got because some guys aren't NBA players, but they could be great
Right,
overseas players. We saw Tyrese
right.
Rice. Tyrese Rice was what too small for the NBA. His height, whatever. But
Mhm.
then man went overseas and became LeBron. LeBron over there, like they love him in Italy. Like that height don't
Right.
matter over there. So it's like what doesn't work over here, or even Frank. Look at Frank Mason. Frank Mason the same recently. I mean, he had a stint in the NBA and his time with the Kings, his time with
Mhm.
Milwaukee and the G League, but then he done went overseas. In his last like 3 years, he's been going crazy, MVP, and different stuff like that. So it
Bro, you
just
can even go
sometimes
as far as like a player like a Stephon Marbury who was an all-star in the NBA
it's had a whole second
and
career
had exactly got a whole
because
statue of him in China.
and the NBA isn't for everybody. It's no different than what we
Right,
talk about with wrestling when we say WWE is not for everybody. Maybe
right,
AEW is, maybe TNA. Same
right,
thing. The NBA may not be for you. Maybe it's Japan. Maybe it's China. Maybe it's the
right,
Italian league or the German league. You know what I mean?
right.
Overseas in general, playing European ball or going to
Yeah,
Mexico, Puerto Rico, or something like that. That might be your calling. You know what I mean? Because the game is different. Your skill set can dominate in those leagues, but not over here. And it's not saying there's no talent over there. It's just saying you can go get that bag over there. And there's nothing wrong
right.
with that.
Yeah, exactly. And I've known guys like I remember Hollis Price was one of them for sure, and him and Quantis White before they got into coaching. They were both great players at St. Aug High School in New Orleans. Ended up at Oklahoma under Kelvin Sampson. Balled out, great college careers. NBA didn't really work out. They both went overseas, played for a number of years, made good money, came back
Great
on this
coaches
side of
now.
the stage and started coaching.
Great coaches now.
And it's like that's okay. It's okay to go that route, and it's very lucrative too to still go that route. Like you're not making
Wish I could have
NBA
went that
money.
route.
Hell yeah.
Let
But
me tell you something, brother.
those guys were
If
still
this
making great money over there.
if this knee didn't do what it did, overseas was my calling. I wish I'd tell anybody over if you. My brother did the same thing. Like he did the NBA for a little while. He drafted with Detroit, had his time there, left Detroit, went to Golden State. Was great in AG League program. I think he was on the main roster. I mean, not main. He was on the roster a little bit with Golden State, and then he went overseas. And he's been in South Africa ever since. Nigeria. He's been in
Mhm.
Nigeria ever since for like the last like I think 6 or 7 years now, and loves it.
Yeah.
Because Zaire was on his team for the last 2 years. Dwayne Wade's son.
Mhm.
So let me.
And bro,
But
and the thing
I got
is,
an in
it's
between
cool.
question in between the NBA when we while it's on my brain. I have a when we get to it, but I have an in between question to ask you what you think about something
Yeah,
when we're
it's
in
like
between NBA to college. But
just to
um,
hit the NBA standings real quick. To
we
make
talk about
sure
them
I'm
fights yet?
closing. Nah, uh, we still got the Pistons at the top of the East. We got Celtics, Knicks, Cavs, Raptors. It's still pretty tight over there. It's still tight. It's getting tighter in the Western Conference too at the top because San Antonio is gaining on OKC. Now
Yep.
OKC only has a 3.5 game lead over them.
And with them
And then
losing to them early in the season, them having injuries right now, and San Antonio's getting healthy,
yep,
they definitely are gonna catch them.
that's how they close that
Um,
gap right there. And it's crazy because uh like you said, the merger of OKC constantly having breakdowns and injuries and then San Antonio getting healthy, it's like the perfect storm right now, and that's why we keep seeing that lead shrink
mhm.
every week.
Yeah, and it's slowly going to like OKC is still gonna get those wins in between, even with players out. Jalen Williams is back, so while um SGA is out, at least you get Jalen back. It's not a total, loss.
Mhm.
I'm gonna say something and walk with me on this. I think the Jazz, even though the Jazz are being stupid and they're openly tanking, and you can clearly see they are, because what they did the other night. But I feel like I get why you are, right? Because this draft, again, let's talk about the draft, is a very good draft in that first round, especially in those first 10 to 15 picks. But you really want to position yourself in that first five, right? Because that's really, really three. But I'll say five.
It's
But
really like yeah, it's like a
you can't
two-person
hide
draft.
it when you clearly are sitting your two-star players in the for the entire fourth quarter after they went crazy for 3 quarters. You're up. What was it? They were up 16 or something like that.
It was something like that, yeah.
And then you sit them for the entire fourth quarter. And then they were
Yeah.
talking about the Kings, who it was either for tonight's game or last night, how they sat. It was like 5 or 6 starters that were healthy scratches. And now
Yep.
the NBA is looking into that. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with tanking, right? If that's what y'all are gonna do, that's what y'all are gonna do. It's nothing. I mean, it's something that's been going on since the beginning of time. You can't
Mhm.
stop it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's a difference between doing it and nobody really noticing that you're doing it or it's happening. They just think you just suck. And you make all of these trades before the trade deadline to get better.
Mhm.
Like people, I'm looking at y'all now like y'all easily could go from 13th in the West to like maybe ninth. I could see y'all moving up to that 9, 10 now. But then you make a move like this where you're like sitting players in the fourth quarter, and it's like, so you wanna get better, you want to be a top team, but you want to do it with what we have and getting a really great draft pick at the same time. And I get
Mhm.
that. Nothing wrong with it again, but do it the right way.
But
Do it
but
the
the
right way.
funny thing
Figure out
about
how
it
to do it the
is
right way.
the funniest thing about it is in the NBA, it's a lottery system, so it's not even guaranteed. You just have
It's not guaranteed. We've anybody, man, somebody that's projected to be a 11 or 12 can end up with number one. because it's all about them
Right.
ping pongs and how they pulled and how they fall. So
Mhm.
I tell you,
It's
but that
it's
was
just,
funny though. That was very funny how it was
bro.
like,
When I saw that the other night,
I'm like, you
and
out these. That's
I
crazy.
didn't realize it until like the second time I watched Sports Center, and I looked, I was like, wait a minute,
The
that's
whole fourth quarter,
Marketing, Jared Jackson Jr. and somebody like they sitting on the bench, bruh. I was like, bro, I
crazy.
can't believe it. I was like, bro, they just openly just tanking like this. And I'm like, you know what? They gonna say something. Somebody gonna say something about this sometime
Check this
soon. And
moment.
like, I promise you, like a couple days later, I want to say a couple days later, like somebody they started talking about it again. It became another topic, of discussion about openly tanking in the NBA and whatnot. And to me, like I said, it's always funny to me because you only get a lottery chance, so there's only a chance of you getting the top pick or whatever pick that you're shooting for. So for you to openly tank like that, to only get a extra shot at that pick, not even
Right.
guaranteeing you that pick.
Hey,
I
apparently
don't
AJ
really,
got everybody.
yeah,
AJ got everybody acting stupid now.
I
Everybody is
really
looking
don't
at
get it, bro. Not
everybody's
just
looking at
AJ,
AJ.
but shit, Peterson too from Kansas. Like
We
that's
can
to me.
we can intertwine leagues for a second. I if I'm a GM, right? Am I looking at him the same way we looked at Kyrie? Because if you remember, Kyrie didn't play a lot his freshman year at Duke because he was injured.
Mhm,
But we knew Kyrie was. I mean, I'm not saying Peterson's not that level of talent because he
mhm.
could be. But are we looking at that like, bro, you ain't really played?
I'm still
Like,
looking
do I
at
want
him.
to take a chance on you?
Trust me, teams are not. They're not even like it's a debate of who's gonna go one or two sometimes, him or
Him
the
or
man.
AJ.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
the thing.
third is pretty much the boozer if he's coming out.
Right,
If he is. His
right.
brother had I think his brother has to stay. I hope he doesn't decide to follow his twin and be like, I'm gonna leave. I they haven't really been giving him a lot of clock this year. He's been getting time, don't get me wrong. But I think he might be a better because that was the other part of the Bronny thing we were talking about, where it was like he's getting the on the job training in real time. But should he have stayed in college? Should he have stayed at USC? Should he
Oh
have
no, Bronny should have definitely.
transfers?
Bronny should have
I,
definitely
I
stayed in college.
I definitely feel that way. I'm not. He's getting the on job training right now. I mean, sometimes there's nothing wrong with getting that real time, but that real time can stunt your growth a little bit, also,
Hmm.
or a lot. Um,
There's just
his is a here's a
another
weird catch-22 because of who his
another
daddy
thing
is.
too is just to face the adversity of having to climb up that hill and fight out of it and make something out of
Yep.
you on the college level
Yeah.
and make it yourself to be this such and such pick at the NBA level. Like there's just something about that to me that will
Because I
speak
think
more to his
Bronny,
character and him fighting through it.
I think Bronny staying for another year or two could have got him into that first round. He's like honestly,
Yeah.
and probably a better. I mean, don't get me wrong. He nepotism, but he ended up getting drafted with his dad. He gets to play with his dad, be on the road with his
Hey,
dad. I
listen.
love that part of it.
I'm
Love
not
that
going.
part of it.
I'm not
But
going to hate on him taking advantage of his nepotism or anything like that because
I
we
would
all
too.
know, like it's been going on for hundreds of years, thousands of years.
Coaching, playing. How many times have we realized that the best player ain't even the quarterback? The best player to play quarterback isn't the person who's actually been playing it. But guess what? He's the coach's son. So who gonna play quarterback? The
It's
coach's
either
son.
the coach's son or the best athlete, one of the two. And it
And,
depends
and
on
it's
if
never the same.
it dep-
Sometimes it is, but
yeah. Sometimes it is, and a
sometimes,
lot of times it's not. But it's
yeah.
like you like that coach is gonna know if I want a chance to win, who do I put at quarterback?
Let
And
me tell
that's
you
who they
something.
gonna typically go with.
I watched it this season with my son. Like, I don't think that our quarterback was the best player to play quarterback. He was too small. He couldn't throw the ball. He couldn't see over the line. He was more of a running back at quarterback for real, because he could run the ball. But
Hmm.
He was the coach. He was the head coach's son. So, and the head coach used to be a quarterback himself. So guess who's gonna play quarterback? He won't even
Got
the best player to throw the. I feel like our best player at quarterback was at wide receiver and should have been the quarterback. And our
it.
running back should have been the quarterback. But hey,
See, sometimes you
I
get
was I was just a parent on the sideline. My voice don't get heard.
at them levels, you're gonna get all kind of stuff. Like I,
Yeah,
I
and
don't
it's
even be
flag,
surprised
so
about it on them levels, but
that's
like
why we're going to a new team next year.
it's just like once you get upper levels of higher end sports and stuff like that, like that's when you start to see like, okay, we already know like how this gonna go because I can see like this player or that player. But the reason why there's that debate between AJ DeBansa and Darren Peterson is because you got a 6'8", 6'9" athletic wing,
Mm-hmm.
and then you got like a 6'5", 6'6" slashing guard. So it's like,
And
who do I
what's your
want to
need?
go with? And the thing is, the reason why I
Depends on.
like Peterson is because Peterson is a better outside shooter off the
Mm.
rip. He doesn't have to develop that because he's already got that in his game.
And it really will come down to who's picking where. Like
Hmm.
we were talking about the NFL, same thing. Like who's
Yeah,
picking where and what their need is. Because let's
that's basically
say,
all. That's all. That's what it's always gonna come down to
because if
because
I'm looking at like Indiana,
Mhm.
I think Peterson's a better fit for them than the bands than AJ would be. And I think either one of them probably could fit, but it's like they kind of already have that. So where does AJ fit? But
Mhm.
Peterson could be better because of the guard play, and they just traded Lamar, so that give there's a more need at guard for Peterson. If I'm looking at like a Utah, if they could get there, they're probably even for them. I think they would pick AJ if he's there just cause, and he's a homer. But
I
I
think
think
they could
Peterson's a
be.
better fit for them too,
Yeah, I think
because
Peterson's
of
a better
guard.
fit for Utah.
He's a
Yeah,
better he's a better
yeah,
fit because of what they just did with
yep,
getting G3. I mean J3.
yep.
So, but then I'm looking at like a Pelicans. Are you replacing Pelicans could go either way.
They could
I'm
go
looking
either
at
way. They
I'm
need
looking at the
so much help.
Kings.
They could
The
go either
Kings could
way.
go either way. Wizards. The Wizards is the interesting one because of all
The
the trades
Wizards
they
could
just made.
technically go either way too,
But
because
I
the
think
other players,
Peterson,
Peterson may be the better fit too, because you
him
have
and
some
Trey,
good wings.
you
Yeah,
would put him and Trey together,
but
and I
the other
like the
thing is
wing.
too is like when you look at their roster, do I feel this way about these guys that I have on the wing to where I
And
don't
then
want to draft this guy, or do I just bring in this guy because I feel like he's that much more talented than what I already have?
you looking at like a Nets could definitely go either way.
Hmm.
Because they just have a need altogether. They just got rid of Cam Thomas, so clearly guard is needed. Um, you got MPJ, but you still could go. You could still make that move with AJ also. So
You
and
know who else
then
is interested in all of this is because we know the Bucks are gonna wait till this offseason to figure out what they're gonna do with Giannis.
the Bucks are very interesting.
Extremely, I
I
think
was
they're
looking at that too
extremely interesting.
because they're 12 right now in the in the East. The Bulls are interesting. Hawks at number 10. That's all going to move around because the later now that we get into this point in the season, tanking is real.
Yep.
From everybody from about 10 down, and I'm gonna be honest, in the East is really 7 down. Magical at 28 and 25.
Yep.
It's really not that big of a gap between. I ain't gonna say them. Maybe I'll say we started the Hornets. Probably from the Hornets down, it's not that big of a gap for real between the Hornets to Bucks. And then that Nets, Pacers, Wizards probably isn't going to move too much. They'll win a couple
No.
more games, but for the most part, they're
Yeah,
going to still
that
be
that's pretty solid. But the thing
same
is,
thing in the
though,
West.
the only thing is that Charlotte has been like a phoenix rising out of the ashes with this streak that they've been on.
Yeah, yeah, and
They've
they're
been
moving
killing
up.
it lately. Yeah, they done found their groove. So much so to the point where I heard an argument earlier on ESPN that Michael Wilbon said that he thinks Con Nipple should be the rookie of the year over Cooper Flag because He's putting up decent numbers in games that mean something, as opposed to Flag. Flag is putting up decent numbers, but his team ain't going nowhere. Knipple is putting up these type of numbers, and his team is in the playoff hunt right now. So, which I mean, yeah, because the Mavericks are 6 game out of the 10th spot, whereas the Hornets are 2 games up in the 9th spot.
Yeah,
Like, so it's like
it's interesting.
you got one guy who there he's putting up decent, comparable numbers, but he's playing in more meaningful games. So how much more do you weigh his team success into that individual award when you
And I
compare him to
think,
guys?
with rookie of the year, I don't even think that matters. It's just like your impact and what you're doing on the court, your numbers when you're coming in. Like if you're going to be on a better team, then of course it looks better than somebody that's putting up big numbers on a bad team. But also, you're more than likely going to get a lot of clock. If you put Flag on the Hornets, it's the same. You're going to get that same production from him, if not more points and more rebounds and more assists and all of that, because now he's getting not he's getting the same amount of clock that he's getting with the Mavs because he's still going to be starting, but it might be different over there than it is with the Mavs because of talent. So I think
Yeah,
him and Con are both playing amazing ball. Shout out to Duke either way. For me, either way, whoever, no matter who won, it's Duke. But um, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough right now. I think clearly they're going to give it to Cooper. I mean, if season ended today, I think Cooper would get it. But
hmm
Knipple is definitely making a case of why he should be in that discussion, though, for sure.
yeah. The way I always look at it is if it's close enough as far as like impact and production is concerned on winning, and winning is the difference, then I'll give it to Conca. But if
Mm-hmm.
Cooper Flag has just that ridiculous production and he keeps it up at a level at which Knipple can't really match, then I would
And
say,
it's
yeah, give it to
consistent.
Flag. Right. That's just the way I look. Like, to me, the winning would factor in
But I think right now,
level if
Flag,
their production was similar. If they had a similar, like if they had somewhat similar numbers or whatever, or they could do, but one was impacting winning more than the other, then yeah, you could easily say, okay, the one that's impacting winning more should win the award. But if Flag is far and away putting up better numbers, better production, even though he's on a worse team, it's like shit. Somebody got to put up the numbers on that badass team.
exactly. So it's
Why not
like,
him?
and that's why I think what it comes down to is always going to be tough because, and Flag being the name and the first round pick and all of that,
Mhm.
it's clearly going to go over there. But
Right. It's
Con Nipple definitely got people looking at him now. Odds is on him. Hell, it's even made me go look at his little brothers play now. I watched
bro.
their game against Jeff Teague high school the other day.
hmm
I was watching them two young boys can hoop they self.
Hey,
That
bro.
is a hooping family.
The crazy thing
Remi-
about it is like
and
to
Flag little
me,
brother too, or
yeah.
his twin brother. His twin brother, right?
No, I think it's a younger brother if I'm not
I
mistaken.
think he's
Because if
just younger.
I think he's a younger brother too. Because I want to say, yeah, he's a younger brother because I saw him
He's
doing
still in
like
high school because
shooting
he's a
drill or
senior.
something. Yeah, he did some shooting drill or something like that. I don't even think he may be a junior. I don't
Nah, I
know,
think
but I
it's
know he's younger. He's definitely
yeah.
still in high school. He is younger. I know that for a fact.
It's only about like a year or two. It isn't anything crazy. I know
Okay,
that. So,
okay,
like I said, it might
but I
be. I
do know
thought he
he's
was a
younger.
senior, but I could be wrong.
The only reason why I think he may be a junior is because remember Flag like declared a little bit earlier. Remember he reclassed or something like that, or came it was something shit like that. So that's why I think the age thing and the year gap thing may be throwing us off because I remember he reclassified or something. But I do remember the little brother. Like I saw a highlight or whatever a video of him doing a shooting drill, and I think it said like his younger brother, some something. But Nah, it's dope to see when you see families that could produce ballers like that, man.
Man,
The funny thing is,
I
speaking
always,
of
you know,
ballers,
I always love the Plumleys.
yeah. To transition to college though, I was watching
Woo!
TV earlier, bro. The Bet sisters and their mom have a commercial with one of the insurance companies.
Oh, for real?
So, dog, let me tell you how it go. I think it's progressive, if I'm not mistaken. So, I think it was what's the is Lauren and I can't remember the other one's name.
Uh, I forgot the
Gosh,
younger sister.
I keep forgetting. I think it's Sarah. Maybe. Let me look it up right quick. But anyway, hold up. I'm about to put it right here. Sienna. All
Okay.
right. So look, Sienna scores. She turns around and points in the stand, and dude is like, "Who me?" And she like, and she point again, like, "Yeah." Oh, he like, "Oh snap!" Lauren scored. She turns around, points in the stands. Dude, like, "Who me?" And she like, "Yeah." He think now, "Oh shit!" Both of the sisters digging me, bruh. Turned out their mama was standing behind him the whole time. That's who they was pointing
That's funny. Because
bruh,
that'll happen. That happens in real life. That definitely will happen in real life.
bruh. It was
You
so
sitting there like,
funny because wait, she got the typical black mama face while holding the big fat heads of her two daughters up, and she looking at him like, "Who the hell you think you talking to?" Or whatever, like giving him one of them looks, bruh. That shit was so funny, had me crying laughing. But nah, man,
we had a fire game
bro,
Monday
we,
night.
we had some serious upsets this week.
Hey,
It
that
was
Arizona Kansas was,
three top 10 teams lost this week, just in a few days,
yeah.
like a
Oh yeah,
2 day
starting with
span.
Duke and that, well, starting with Duke and UNC from Saturday.
That
Was there any
buzzer
more
beater.
before that? I'm trying to think
Um,
from last Wednesday or Thursday from till.
um,
I know we had Duke
um,
UNC. We had Miami beating UNC.
oh, remember BYU had lost to it was Utah who beat them last week. Somebody had beat them that wasn't ranked last week. That's why they had dropped so far in the standings.
Let's see.
It was them and Gonzaga that took big losses last week.
Excuse me.
But let me pull it up right quick to see who it was that they lost to. But I know those were like the two biggest ones, like from this past week that had lost.
That's from
It was
Saturday,
that's what it was because
Wednesday. Okay.
BYU had went on like a 4 game slide where they lost to Arizona, Kansas, Oklahoma State, and then U8.
Yeah, it was Oklahoma State last Wednesday. It was probably
Okay.
after the pod. It was either while we were podding or right after.
Yeah, okay, I
Um,
remember now. And
they
then
dropped that game.
Gonzaga
Portland beat
lost.
Gonzaga.
That's who it
Portland.
was. You
Yeah,
see, I couldn't remember who or how it started
I
happening,
think
but
that happened right after, probably right after we were podding also,
mhm.
because that's definitely a West Coast game.
But like the thing is, like they lost that. Like BYU went on that 4 game snide like in the last couple of weeks or whatever. North Carolina also.
Oh, St.
Uh
John's shocking UConn Friday night.
that
That
was
was one
two. And
too.
then we just had last night Miami beat North Carolina.
Yep. Saturday, like you said, we had UNC
The
beating
buzzer beater over Duke.
yeah. I don't think it was any other key ones on Saturday. That was like the one. Oh, Oklahoma beating Vanderbilt Saturday. Vanderbilt was
Kansas
ranked ninth. They
wait,
weren't ranked like super high, but
Kansas being down Peterson and still beating Arizona.
that game Monday night was love because the people who stepped up, um,
They
in
stepped up
that
big.
stepped up.
I mean, stepped up
Um,
real. The thing was like I
Michigan
didn't.
State and Illinois was a good game. Two top
Yeah,
ranked teams.
yeah.
I
It was
think
a
that
bunch
was,
of good games like this last like few days or
yeah,
so.
and then Houston beating BYU Saturday also. I think you said
Mhm.
that though.
Yeah, that was part of that. That's what I was saying. That was part of BYU's that snide that they been
Them
on.
two
But
games that they dropped.
it's like they lost to ranked teams, but you also lost to an unranked team in there too.
Yeah,
So it's like,
yeah.
damn, like you just fell off. Like you completely fell off. But I mean, it is what it is,
Uh,
and like I said, this time of year is nut cutting time in conference tournament is in conference play.
yep.
So
Yeah, that Arizona
it
and Kansas
is.
had me. I'm saying we were all texting like during the game, but I'm watching like, yo, like these boys is hooping. They were
Bruh,
getting that's the college basketball I missed that.
bruh, I
I don't
promise.
watch enough.
Mhm. That's why I had the two TVs. Like I was like, nah, I'm gonna put Raw on the other TV, and I'm gonna put the game on this TV because I'm gonna need two TVs because I need to see this game. I don't want to just keep my eye on it or look at the scores or
Nah,
watch
I
the
had to
score.
watch that.
Oh, I want to
I
watch
can
the game.
I can watch Raw later. It's on Netflix. It's a rerun.
Yeah, yeah,
I'll watch that later. But that game was crazy. Like
yeah.
you
It
said,
was wild.
Miami pulling off the upset on UNC major.
Yeah,
Uh
and the thing
nobody
about it is,
Wisconsin beating Illinois
oh
yesterday
yeah,
also.
that
That
was
was a
another
big
one.
one. Purdue over Nebraska.
Hmm.
Two top team, not top ranked, but relatively top ranked. Nebraska 7, Purdue 13. That's a key game. That's going to kind of move the standings when they come out. Iowa State losing to TCU also, unranked TCU when Iowa State is number 5. Um, and that's it as of there. And
Mhm.
then
Now the, the
today,
the funny thing was though with the thing like I was saying with Carolina losing to Miami, the thing that's gonna screw that could screw them up come tournament time if they don't improve their resume.
and
Uh,
ACC tournament key
four
wins.
four of their 5 losses have come to unranked teams.
They got to win the ACC tournament or at least get to the finals against Duke. It's at least got to be them and Duke.
They gotta
For the UNC.
improve and they gotta have more. They gotta have better wins than they because those 4 losses are bad right now, especially if those
Yeah.
teams don't
I
end up
mean, you
making.
got to start blowing teams out by like 20, 25.
They gotta
Like,
hope
you
that
got to
those
put up
teams make the
numbers.
tournament or win their conference tournaments and get in or something like that to make those losses look better because losing to an unranked team that don't make the tournament is a
Mhm.
whole lot different than losing to an unranked team that at least made the tournament. So,
And even though Clemson is 20, they lost tonight to Virginia Tech.
oh, for real?
Yeah, they lost to an unranked Tech. Um,
Damn.
we only got like 30 seconds left, but Michigan is holding. It's pretty much about to hold on against Northwestern. Texas Tech beat Colorado today. UConn beat Butler. Florida beat Georgia. Tomorrow, not too many key games. Well, not tomorrow, I mean Friday. Michigan State, Wisconsin, Ohio, Miami, Ohio, and St. Louis and Loyola, Illinois are like key games for Friday.
Hmm.
And then we got some good games on Saturday. We got Duke and Clemson. Number 4 Duke against 20 Clemson. Michigan and UCLA because UCLA is still a tough team, even being unranked. They
Yeah,
not
they
a
they
they're not
still
a
going.
cakewalk.
Yeah, they're not gonna be an easy match.
Kansas and Iowa State is going to be the game to watch on Saturday at 1 o'clock Eastern. Um,
Ooh,
Eastern for me. That's going to be a really good game. Duke and Clemson is at 12 on Saturday
ooh.
Eastern. Duke is at home. That's going to be a great one. Uh, Kentucky and Florida. Kentucky is ranked 25, Florida 14. That's going to be a great game. UNC Pittsburgh,
I've been talking to Foot because Foot went to Kentucky, so she keep up with them. That
Turn
fucking
Breeze.
that fucking team been frustrating the hell out of their fans like this whole year because, bruh, like they'll fuck around and beat somebody ranked and then lose to somebody unranked, or like
Yep.
they'll lose to an unranked team by 20 and then beat a like they just been up and down this whole year. Like they've been real. It's been hard to get a
And
hold of Kentucky this year.
and I know you're going to be paying attention Saturday night to this Texas Tech Arizona game, 1 against 16.
Hmm.
Texas Tech may be 16, but they have been playing great ball this year.
That one is at like 8 or 9
6:30,
Eastern or something? 6:30.
6:30,
Oh, okay, okay,
6:30
okay. I
Eastern.
thought it was later for some reason. Okay, cool.
Mm-mm.
Even
That's
better.
gonna be a good
Even better.
game. Georgetown, UConn, Auburn, Arkansas, Virginia, Ohio State. Some of the other games will round out Saturday. Sunday we have one game: Indiana, Illinois. This is the game I'm gonna be watching on Monday. Because I'm just looking from Wednesday to Wednesday. Syracuse, Duke, Monday night. And then I know you're gonna be watching Houston and Iowa State also.
Mhm.
Those are two Monday night games.
That one
Tuesday
I'm
has a
really looking forward to.
huge slate for Tuesday. Michigan Purdue, which is a 2-13 matchup as of right now. And trying to think if it's another like key game on here. Kentucky, Georgia, UCLA, Michigan State, UNC, NC State is always a good game. Whenever it's an ACC game, but that anytime the North Carolina teams play each other, whether it's Wake Forest, UNC, Duke, NC State, those are always crazy games. And then while we're potting next Wednesday, we got BYU and Arizona on Wednesday night, about right when we're starting. So while we're potting, might have to put that one live. Might have to pod downstairs and put that one live on the TV while we going next week because that's going to
Uh-oh.
be a huge game.
Breaking news: Cooper Flag has suffered a left mid-foot sprain following injury Tuesday's game against. Not really saying. MRI confirmed he will miss Thursday's game against Lakers and also miss the Rising Stars game on Friday All Star Week. Hmm.
Hey, interesting. Not too,
Yeah,
you know, interesting though. I mean, it happens. It does. Sad, but it does.
yeah, it's kind of crazy because it's like little injuries and stuff like that though, like if they aren't like fully healed when you try to come back can compound into bigger injuries down the line. So
Rehabbing all this week. It's a good thing that they shut them
right,
down for All Star.
right.
I might shut them down
Because
for a couple games next week too, and then you
yeah,
know, because we're not
you
in a place where we about to win. No, you
no.
know, we're not in like we're in rebuild right now. So
And the
shutting them
thing
down
is
for
like
2 or 3 weeks isn't bad.
they're there's 6 games right now out of the 10th spot. So like realistically speaking, unless they go on some serious hot streak, they're not gonna make the playoffs.
No, so
So it's like why even risk it? You know, if he has an injury, sit him out as long as he needs to before he's 100% and then have him come back. Because that mid foot sprain could easily turn into a fracture of a bone or something. You know,
exactly.
so just due to instability of the foot itself. It's just like those calf strains and stuff that end up being Achilles tears, like what happened in KD's situation, for example. And I want to say it was somebody else, same thing. Calf strain ended up with an Achilles tear. Like those kind of injuries can turn into worse injuries if they aren't nursed back to health properly. So just take your time coming back. It don't make no sense. Over on the women's side though, for college basketball, it's pretty much been status quo. We had a couple of good games this past week though with Texas and UCLA, with Texas getting that win. It didn't really drop. I'm sorry, Texas and LSU. I'm sorry. It didn't really drop LSU that far in the standings, like a spot in both polls, so it didn't really hurt them. UConn is still the overwhelming, unanimous favorite at number one in both polls, followed by the same UCLA, South Carolina, and Texas at 2, 3, and 4. Um, this side is looking pretty steady. Like,
Yeah, the women's game is always usually about uh the same. It don't move but so much.
yeah, I mean, there was some movement in the standings with Iowa falling and Duke rising and whatnot. Baylor, making a climb up there as well. Tennessee drops a few spots in both polls. North Carolina, making a move or whatever. Like there's some movement, but there's not like at the top typically. It's where we always see the women's game. Like it's pretty consistent.
Yeah, like we said like last weekend before. I mean, outside of UConn still being undefeated, UCLA has only dropped.
One
It say they
game.
24. Yeah, it say they 24-1, but I'm not sure. It
Mhm.
must have been like a neutral site game that they dropped. But South Carolina 24-2. Like it's not a lot of movement from
Mhm.
there all the way down. I mean, you got Oklahoma with 6 losses, Duke with 6 losses, Louisville's got 4, 3, 4. You know what I mean? Like it's not like you said, a lot of movement. So
Hmm.
it's a log jam. The women's tournament is always fire every year, so we already know what we're gonna
Yeah.
get from that. It might be a couple shockers this year, just because where some of these teams are going to be ranked that should be a little higher, like the TCU's, the Iowa States, because I think Iowa State is even though they're not ranked anymore, they're one of those teams that's going to get in the tournament and
They could shock some people.
they gonna go crazy because now they're getting matchups that they wouldn't regularly get if they were
Mhm.
higher seeded. Now they're getting better matchups with maybe a little better road, which is scary for some teams. Um, so I think both tournaments are going to be really interesting this year. The men's tournament might be a little more cut and dry compared to the women's, being a
Mhm.
little more up in the air. But I think UConn, UCLA, South Carolina, Texas specifically, I've been watching them the last couple years. Um, Texas, I'm shocked by Vanderbilt. I'm not hip to Vanderbilt's women's team. Clearly I need to be in 23 and 2.
Like they've always had like an okay team from what I can remember, but I've never seen Vandy like this high, ranked this
Yeah,
high,
or
this high
like
this
an
late in the season.
Ohio State women's team. I've never paid attention to I never paid attention to Ohio State basketball because even they men's team some years is ranked up there. It's just some schools are just like Ohio State is football. I don't
Yeah.
think about Ohio State. The last time I remember even thinking about Ohio State in basketball was what? Greg Oden?
Damn. Yeah, you got me with that. I forgot about Greg Oden. I was gonna say
I
Michael
think
Red.
that's the was Michael Red after or was he before? He was before. Yeah, he was way
Yeah,
before.
it was
Yeah, yeah.
before. That's what I'm saying. Like
So yeah, for me it
I
was
forgot
Greg
about Greg
Oden.
Oden.
And it might have been somebody after that that I can't
Oh,
think
you
of.
know what?
Oh,
The
another
light
big man went
the
there.
light skinned kid that was like 6'7", 6'8". Uh
Now I have to look this up.
Jared Sullinger.
That's who it was. I about to say it. So
I knew I
Sullinger
was
was the
gonna if
last
I
one.
sit here and thought about it long enough, I was gonna remember. Yeah, it was him, and I can't remember that guard who he played with, but it was that team. That
Let
was
me
like
see.
the last time I really
Notable Ohio
like
State basketball players.
I was like, oh wow, like he's pretty
All right,
good.
they went back too far. I
D'Angelo
didn't look.
Russell,
Yeah. Oh yeah. So probably Russell.
he played
Russell
because
probably
he was
was.
one and done. He was one and done. D'Lo.
He probably would. Well, Evan Turner. I forgot Evan
Oh
Turner.
yeah, that's right. Evan Turner did go to Ohio State.
He graduated in
Damn, so that's
10.
more than we thought, especially lately.
Uh, Mike Conley Jr. He went
That's
there. He was
right.
he was there with Greg Oden. You had
Damn, that okay,
Sullinger.
that's right. That's who was there. With, oh, okay, okay.
So I would say the last one would be Russell. There,
Yeah, it
it would
has
be
to
Russell.
be.
Yeah, it'd be D'Angelo.
So D'Lo came out after Evan Turner, or Evan
Evan
Turner
Turner.
came out. I thought Evan Turner came out after
No,
D'Lo.
D'Lo was the last one, and he was
Okay,
2014, 15.
okay.
Sullinger was 11 and 12. He only stayed 1 year. No, 2 years. Sorry, because he was a two-time All American. Mike Conley was 06 to 07. Odin was 06 to 07. Michael Redd was 97 to 2000. And then Evan Turner was 07 to 10. So
Okay,
he was
Evan Turner
there
was
right
before.
before
Okay,
Sullinger.
gotcha. I
He was
couldn't
there
remember
with
when he
Conley.
was there, but I after you started naming, so I was like, wait a minute, yeah, that's right. He did go out.
Yeah, he was there with Odin and Conley.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, but
but yeah,
like
either way, you still don't think about regardless, you don't think about Ohio State and basketball. It's just
hell
certain
no.
schools or football schools like Duke recently you started paying attention. Duke and UNC. UNC I have a player or two on their football team that usually come from the basketball team, but you don't look at them like Kentucky. Kentucky, you don't look at them for football. Look at them for basketball.
But
So
you
if
know what's
Kentucky has a
crazy?
fire football year, you're like, damn, when they
The
started
crazy
recruiting.
part about it is they'll produce like one or two players every year or two.
Yeah,
You know what
for
I'm saying?
sure.
That may make the league or whatever. But it's
For sure.
nobody like you don't normally get.
It's not an
There
overall team where
was
you're like,
there was a string where fucking Kentucky had Bud Dupree and they had a couple edge
I
rushers that were
remember,
pretty good.
like
Um
Alabama the last what 4 years in basketball for men. probably
Yeah,
like 4 or 5 consistently.
they've
They've been
they've
like,
had some ballers come out of
yeah,
Alabama.
they've been, and they entire team, like they've been top ranked, like killing the SEC,
Hmm.
like, and then you get, I mean, no pun intended, because they got some killers over there. Uh, boom, boom, boom. But don't mind me. Uh, but yeah, they still been a top ranked team. But you don't think about Bama in football. Bama is, I
Hmm.
mean, Bama in basketball. That's a football program.
Right.
So, but I love that when you start getting some of these football programs that they're starting to recruit well, and
And you
guys
know,
want
and
to
another,
guys are
yeah.
staying at home, or
Hmm.
what I mean, decided like, nah, I think I want to go to Bama and turn that program around, or I want to go
Another
to.
another cross promotional, like kind of cross program thing is like South Carolina's been more famous for their women's basketball program. But the other day,
They
uh
football program been lit too.
yeah, Dawn Staley actually had on the Nick Eamon jersey because
Hmm.
he was repping the Seahawks because he was in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
So just
So
like seeing stuff like that, like it's pretty dope. It's pretty dope.
like LSU women's team coming up, they've men's
Yeah.
team has always been pretty good. And the football team is what fuels the entire
Hmm.
school, even though lately the women's team has. Same thing with Duke. Duke women's team has always been up there, but they men's team runs it. But lately, they basketball team probably the last, what, it started with Daniel Jones, I want to say. From that point on, they've been a top ranked team in the ACC in football, or up there at least, and putting out
They
great players.
yeah, they tend to put out a player here or there. You know what I'm saying? It's
Miami,
just
we just got their quarterback,
yeah.
the young
That
boy,
was
the
a
freshman.
that was a whole
That was a
thing
whole
because
thing. Yeah.
yeah, they had to go to court and get it settled and there's some contract language and stuff like that. Like that was a whole deal.
Which I'm shocked,
Um,
because then we just get Rocco. I think Rocco Beck had committed, if I was correct. I could be wrong, but I thought Rocco had decided to go to Miami. I know he was leaving Iowa State. I remember that.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but it's just crazy, man, how like NIL is working out. I'm just glad that a lot of these athletes are getting a chance to take advantage of it because there's so many times where before they were prohibited by it and everything. And shout out to people like who kind of got the ball rolling. Like I know a lot of people give credit to the O'Bannons in their court case and stuff, but let's not forget uh
Oh no, he
uh
transferred to Penn
slot
State. He
slot
changed his
slot
mind.
wide receiver, kick returner for the Colorado football team, Jeremy Bloom, who was also a skier.
I remember. I remember
Yeah.
him.
And he
I
had the
do.
issue because his sponsorships for his skiing got in the
Hmm.
way of him playing football. And he was one of the ones who helped kind of kickstart that whole challenging the NCAA on all this kind of stuff too.
Yeah, I
So
remember. I
don't forget about
remember.
him
Yeah,
either.
I
Yeah,
was
like
young when. Damn, that was a long time ago.
yeah,
Sheesh.
it's shit like that. Like people, like you gotta remember your history in order to know where you're going and know where stuff really came from. Because people will say, like to this day, and I'll die on this hill. People blame LeBron for the super team era, but I tell them
No,
like Danny Ainge and
Boston.
Boston started that.
Boston started it.
Yeah,
Only reason Braun and them got together was because of Boston, and then it
they
just was a
trying to
trickle
figure
effect
out
after
how
that.
to stop Boston in the East.
Boston was killing us. We all free
Yes,
agents.
they
Hey
was trying to
guys,
figure out how to stop Boston in the East, and they figured the best way to stop Boston in the East is for us to click up against them.
and now look, you at least got to have three. It used to be you at least had to have two. You had to have a superstar, and you had to have that co. But now you got to have a solid three. You got to figure out a
Mm-hmm.
solid three now, at least. Most teams have gone back to two. I think the big threes have been broken up for the most part, except for like,
Mm-hmm.
I think New York has like a big four, maybe five. They
And
whole
and
starting
to be
lineup.
honest with you, it the way the league
Boston
is
got three
now,
now.
I love it
Under
because
Vucevic.
it's like people say a big two or three, but it's like, okay, what do you consider a two or a three? Or is this person not considered a part of that two or three? Or, to me, it's just like
I
you
think the
need a
big three
certain
has always been around. Because look at the Bulls. I felt like the Bulls had a big four for a long time, maybe really almost a five some nights. But for the most part, it was always Jordan, Rodman, Pippen, Kurt. They
No,
really had five. It was really Jordan.
we could go back
They
to
could go.
the
They could go eight deep for real. Shit.
fucking Celtics, the Lakers of the '80s, like
Yep.
the
The Celtics of the '60s
the Sixers.
and the
Like yeah,
'50s,
like I'm saying, like we could go
Sixers,
back. The
Golden
fucking
State.
Knicks in the '70s. Like we could go back and like we could figure all of that out. Like
Hey,
it's a bunch of
we can
them
have
there,
we can have
but
that talk for hours. I'm with
yeah,
you on that one.
the way the league is now, to me, the biggest thing is just chemistry and style of play. And you need
Yeah,
guys that have good chemistry and that can match each other's and that can complement each other's style of play.
and that's why I said most teams now, because they've kind of broken up that big three. It's
Hmm.
like it's a strong two, and then key pieces with them.
Right.
'Cause I'm
You
looking
need
at
at least a
Boston
strong two. You need at least two solid players, and then key pieces around at least those two central figures.
because with the
And that's
Knicks, I still think the Knicks is I don't know, it's their whole team
bro.
too, but
It's like
because
and then
Mikal, Brunson, Cat is for
hmm
sure, and then
and then
even around them, you still got
you got to think about like a how important a guy like a Josh Hart is. Even though you may not
yeah,
always see statistical production from him,
mhm,
he's like the heartbeat of that team though. Like
yeah,
you can't. It's just like with Draymond with Golden State all these years. You don't, and then people tease him about having a triple single, but like
but
you
brother,
got to
it's
admit,
defense.
Draymond is so
It's
critical to what they do there. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? So it's like there's a lot of times where a person's contributions to the game may not always show up in the stat sheet. It shows up in other places.
I still
And
remember getting into that argument a couple months, well, probably was a couple months ago, where Draymond can't drop block 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 block, and I'm like, bro, do you not know Draymond can if he needed to, if it is called for him to, Draymond could easily drop 30, easily.
yeah,
Let's not even the same thing. I think in that same discussion we were talking about Pat Bev, and people are like, Pat Bev can't easily if it was called on him for to do so. Pat Bev is the same. He could drop 20, 25, 30. You got to look at who these players were before they got to teams where they weren't called to do that. That wasn't their calling on those teams to be that player. They already had that player. I need you for this that you do well. You play defense amazing. You rebound amazing. You pass the ball amazing. You know, stuff like that. That's what I need you to do. I got scores, but I don't have that. What you do, I don't have, and I need you for that. That's why players like that last in the league that long. But Melo said something interesting on his pod, the Mike Vick episode that just came out. I was watching, and he
mhm,
was like, in today's game, there's less of those players because
mhm.
the NBA, if you can't shoot, if you can't score, I don't need you. I don't care about what you do on D. If all you do is play defense, that's great. But can you score? Can you shoot a jump
It
shot? Can you
it
make a
is
layup? Are you hitting a three? And he said the game is transitioning to more of that where they need 15 scores now instead of having those Draymonds. Like those players like that are are flowing out. You're not seeing that many of a Draymond anymore. That's just he's a dog. You know what I mean? He does it all.
I still see the need for players like that, and I think that they still do look for players like that. I think that there's more emphasis placed on offensive players, but I still think that teams look for and need players like that got that dog in them and everything. And
Of
and I
course.
still think that they still put a
The
more
dirty work. You gotta have the
yeah,
players that do the dirty
you
work.
got to. But I kind of agree with him like sometimes because if you look at like for example certain teams and you look at the moves they make and they make a move for more offensive help as opposed to more defensive help, or you look at a team that make a move and
Like
it's
a
like
OKC.
this a player that's more of a defensive player or what have you. Like there's different reasons why players will go for different guys. Like
Lakers bringing in Kennard. I look at I felt like we needed shooters, don't get me wrong, but I felt like defensive help would have been and
defensive
Kennard
help
does
would
that
have been
too.
better, right? Um
We went there on the offensive side going to find a shooter.
mhm.
So
Like when the Knicks brought in Mikael Bridges and Josh Hart. they knew like, okay, Bridges is a guy that's a utility guy. He can do a little bit of everything. Josh Hart is more of that dog type of guy. Mikal Bridges is a dog, but Mikal Bridges can also score. You
Even
look at
recently, who they just brought in from the trade they made with New Orleans for
Jose Alvarado.
uh, yeah, Jose Alvarado. You're bringing it,
Mhm.
but Jose plays great defense too. Don't get me wrong.
There's a
But
reason why his nickname is
offense,
Grand Theft Alvarado. He
hey,
got the GTA nickname
he's
because
always. I
he's a
watched
ball.
him in. I watched a lot of his stuff when he was in high school. He was a little Puerto Rican kid,
Hmm
hooped coming out of New York. I'm talking about baller.
Bruh,
He's so little.
the thing is, he's about, I think he's like about 6 foot, like 5'11", 6 foot,
Yeah,
something like that. But the thing is, with guys like that on your team, you already know like he's not gonna give up and he's gonna fight through everything. And that's what you need. That's what you want going into battle with you is you want guys that's gonna keep the pressure up and they never gonna give up and they never gonna let up and they never gonna feel like we out of a game. And you need guys like that on your team because you want guys with that I don't give a fuck. I'm not gonna quit. I'm gonna keep fighting mentality because that kind of stuff permeates throughout your bench and in your locker room and whatnot. And that overall will boost morale on that team and that'll make guys that's even, top players, superstar players, like damn, like if he playing like that, they're kind of pushing me or that'll make me look bad or whatever. And there's other
exactly.
guys who want to get playing time and was like, well shit, I want to get playing time, so I gotta go up to Jose's level. So it's like you need guys like that, and I love seeing guys like that get their shot, get their shine, and get their flowers because those are the kind of guys that are the real glue to certain teams and team chemistry and like they can hold you together on both ends of the floor.
Yeah,
You do need stuff like that for sure. But man, this has been a fun episode to come in because we didn't even think we was gonna be talking this long because once we got through the Super Bowl, it was like, all right, everything else is just updates of shit. But
yeah. Nothing else really. We didn't really have too much to happen, but from last week
nah,
to this week, other than the Super Bowl,
yeah.
we had some NBA fights. Two separate ones. They got to
Mhm.
shaking. That was crazy. Other
NBA
than that,
fights, are NBA fights, and they never
have
amount
you been
to.
watching? I don't know if you do, because a lot of people don't. Have you been watching the Winter Olympics?
I watched some stuff. I know. I had
I've
wrote it
glanced
down
at
to make sure I
highlights.
shot them out. Hold up.
I know I glanced at highlights. I haven't. I'm
Uh,
usually I watch the winner because
yeah.
the winner is a lot more exciting to
Bro,
me.
the only thing that's been throwing me off is I can't like this is the one time when they've had an Olympics, whether it's winter or summer, and I haven't like synced up my time difference with the Olympics when stuff is coming on. Like I just
Yeah.
haven't figured it out yet. But shout out to Layla Edwards.
Oh, I see. Yeah. First black woman to play and score for the USA women's hockey team at the
Bro,
Olympics.
she
Okay.
only 22. I didn't realize that she's only 22. So shout out to her. Um, Also, Erin Young is I think her name. She won a speed skating medal, and I'm trying to think of who else, man. I think that was it though. I know it was Layla Edwards because I wrote her down, but I want to say the speed skater. Her name is Erin Young. I have to look it up. Um, Curling. Oh, that's right. Shout out to the mixed U.S. curling team. The mixed curling team. They ended up with a silver medal.
Mm,
Shout out to them too. That was the first time I think the U.S. has ever medaled in curling or something like that, or the first time they medaled in mixed curling or something like that. But like, yeah, shout out to them because that was dope. I didn't like they upset two teams on their way there, and I was like, oh shit, like they may end up getting a medal, and then
look at
they ended up in the
Norway.
gold medal game. I was like, oh shit, they in the gold medal game,
I'm looking at the medal count. Norway is killing the gold right now with 7. They got 13 overall.
bro. Norway,
USA is in second right now with 4 golds, 6
uh huh,
silver, 2 bronze.
bro. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it was Norway had a dude when they was doing that cross country skiing thing where they got to do the bunch of different things.
Hmm.
Dude did the uphill portion under 6 minutes on skis, bro. Doing a sub 6 minute mile uphill on skis is fucking crazy. Doing a
Bro, did
sub
you
doing a sub 6 minute mile just running on a track is crazy.
Listen, I was listening to Steve Harvey this morning, and he was talking about the Olympics and how he watches, he was talking like he knew his
Mhm.
stuff. He was like he
Yeah.
watched the Winter Olympics, and he was talking about, he said, "Did y'all know that Haiti had a skier?" And
Yeah.
everybody was like, "Huh?
Yeah.
Haiti?" They were like, "Where he practicing at?" And I was dying because I thought of it. Reminded me of fucking Cool Runnings, and you like Jamaica got a bobsled team, and you like, but where they practicing? Like what? But they said he placed last,
Yeah.
but he was
He
there.
he was there
But he was
exactly.
there.
I saw him when he crossed the finish line too, bro. He was smiling his ass off, like he was proud as fuck. Because it's like it's not about going out there and competing and this and that. Like I expect to win a medal. Like some of them go out there and they know they're not, but it's just representing your country and competing.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're the best at this sport in your country. Like nobody else can do this sport in your country better than you. Like that's something to be said
Yeah,
about some
and
like
that's
that
really
shit.
what it is. Like
Yeah,
I'm from Haiti, and I made it to the Olympics in a sport that people wouldn't even expect anybody from Haiti, this hot ass air place in the Winter Olympics to make. It's like they got a snow, like if they had a snowboarder or something like that.
bruh,
Like it's always interesting when I see certain countries that make like the games for certain sports, and it's like that's shocking.
bruh.
Because
That shit
I
be
would expect like a Switzerland, a Germany, a Norway, because
exactly.
they get snow in their areas, so that
And
makes sense.
it got
But
mountains and shit.
Italy don't make sense to me because nigga, it don't snow in Italy like that.
Dog,
Like
Italy
they
got mountains. Italy got
so
some mountains up, especially I
yeah.
believe in northern Italy, if I'm not mistaken. Which I believe I can't remember what part of Italy they at, but I want to say it's like the northern part of Italy that has like the most mountains. I don't think the
They were
southern
talking
part
about
has
that.
as much.
He was talking about that one girl in, I think it was skiing. Also, it was downhill skiing.
Mhm.
She was from either Japan or China. She's one of the top ranked in the world. She's also a supermodel, and apparently, she made it all the way to the end, and she went for a jump, and he was like, he had everybody. It was the way he told the story because he had everybody dying laughing. But he was talking about how like she hit the rail, and she hit the rail twice. He was talking about like how she bounced. It was, I gotta find it to watch it. But so, but yeah, I really haven't watched this year like I normally do because I normally
Yeah.
watch the downhill skiing, snowboarding,
Mhm.
of course.
Mhm.
I love snowboarding. That's probably one thing people don't know about me. Like I love to actually snowboard. I'm a black man that snowboards. I love it. It's crazy because we were talking to our neighbors, and the husband loves to, our neighbors at the next building over.
Mhm.
But my man Zach, shout out Zach, he loves to snowboard, but his wife is a skier, and they've taught each other how to do the opposite. So it was dope
Oh
because
shit!
he never skied. So if you've ever watched like them old movies,
Damn.
like where it's like they beef. Skiers and snowboarders beef. And it's so
Yeah.
funny because you look at snowboarders like the same way people look at skateboarders and stuff like that. And skiers are more prissy and
Yeah.
so he taught her how to snowboard. She taught him how to ski. This winter, this past, well, we're still in winter, but they went to a resort like sometime in December for her birthday, and they taught each other how to do the opposite. So
That's
it was
what's
dope
up.
because I told him next time let us know and we'll go because I want to learn how to ski. Like snowboarding, I do, but
Yeah.
I've never skied. I never wanted to ski because I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want to ski. That's wet. But now I'm like, damn, maybe I do want to ski. So
I don't want to do neither one because I don't never want to pay to go freeze my ass off.
hey, brother, it can be cold. I'm not gonna act like if we ever. I'll put it to you like this: if we ever, as a group, decide, hey, we gonna go to Colorado and visit Dre, while we're there,
Mhm.
it's something we can do. We ain't got to go out of our way,
Yeah.
but if we happen to be in that area,
Yeah.
we'll go do it. And it's not as hard as you think. I promise. You gonna fall. I ain't gonna act like you're not. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
You gonna
See,
fall.
that's the part. That's the part. This is why I retired from competitive sports now
That's not
because
that's not competitive.
it ain't the injury, it ain't the
That's
embarrassment or
competitive.
whatever. It's the
So
fucking recovery.
there's no competition there.
No, but I'm just saying, like, just like the most I said, and I told my homegirl this because she was like, "Hey, she was like, it's this Pilates thing or something." I was like, man, I'm not doing Pilates. I was like, you trying to kill me? And she was like, I've never
Pilates
done
and
it
yoga.
before either. I was like, wait, so you've never done it, and you thinking that I should go try it,
Pilates and yoga. I'm trying to tell you. I need
bro?
to
But
start doing more of it.
bro, like you're a former pro athlete. Like I didn't get to that level. You could do stuff like that. I can't.
Hey
Like,
Dre, speaking of, hey, listen, brother, I'm trying to line this schedule up now. I'm gonna be in Houston this summer, house hunting, somewhere around. No, no, no. We'll talk about that off, but that part I'm serious. We'll be
yeah,
down there.
this dude talking
Sometime
about
in,
either.
I think sometime at the end of June. If you home, not on the road, brother, I'm gonna let I'm gonna let Jermaine know to let you
He
know.
be home every day. He
Oh,
home
okay, cool.
every day. Yeah, he home
Oh, okay.
every day. He may
Oh,
work
then
late
yeah, we're
some
gonna
days,
make a
but he
thing of it,
pretty
man.
much be home every day. So just let him
Yeah,
know.
if
I
the
know he be
universe
home.
lines up the way it's supposed to, probably somewhere around when football season start, this pod will be an in-person pod. So because I probably be
Yeah,
at the main house like every day. He gonna get tired of me. I
yeah,
ain't gonna
it's
lie.
gonna have to, cause especially if my schedule, with the way my schedule about to change. Yeah, we're
Oh
gonna have to
yeah,
up.
no, no, no. But yeah, that part because if things work out the way somebody over here wants them to, we'll be my I'm from Houston gonna be real. You feel me? It is. I'm really gonna be from here. Bro, I done already told niggas I'm about to. I don't. If we going the Dallas way, I'm definitely growing my hair out, and I'm about to get this South Dallas shag.
Oh shit! Here he go.
If we in Houston, I don't know what haircut they got, but I'm about to get some cowboy boots. I'm gonna get me a 10-gallon just cause I need to fit. Man, I gotta fit in. So, and I'm gonna start getting some swangers. I'm getting the lack, and I'm putting them swangers on it. I'm very familiar. Told y'all I'm from Houston. I know lingo and everything. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna fit right in from day one. From day one.
And on that note,
I'm
ladies
gonna
and
bougie
gentlemen,
ass Dallas.
we're gonna end it with Keys's his Texas song.
Test me. All right.
Man.
You can cut out that other shit.
Listen, man.
Hey, yo, hey. Yeah. Run it up, Blondo.
Get your tits. I want to ride a horse to the phone. Like you just galloping like
Hey man, for my brother Keys, for Big Extra Plug, everybody in Texas, everybody around the world, appreciate y'all for tuning in this week. I'll let y'all next week, man. Later.